Hi, my name is Elena. I'm 14 years old, or actually, I was 14 when all of this happened. I'm recording this video because I can't keep what I experienced inside anymore. I'm not looking for attention. I'm not asking for pity. I just hope you'll listen to the end because it might change your life, just like it changed mine. I come from a completely normal family: mom, dad, and my little brother Luca, who's 9. We live in a small town near Florence. I go to middle school, 8th grade. I was always a quiet girl, did okay in school, nothing special. But the truth is, I spent most of my time glued to my phone: Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp. I was scrolling for no reason most of the time. Every free second, I'd be on my screen. That was my world. I obsessed over how I looked, what people thought of me, whether my selfies were cute enough, whether I got enough likes. Sometimes I laughed at memes, sometimes I cried reading mean comments. But deep down, even if I didn't show it to anyone, I felt empty. One night I whispered to God in the silence of my room, "Are you really there? Can you see me? Are you listening?" I didn't hear anything. So eventually I stopped asking. I wasn't a bad girl, really. I was just lost, and I didn't even know it. Then everything changed. On a Saturday afternoon, I was going to the pool with one of my friends. Dad was driving us. It was a gray day, raining hard. We had the music up loud, laughing, filming silly TikToks. I was actually recording one of those videos, staring at my screen instead of the road. Dad slammed the brakes, then a crash, the sound of glass shattering, metal twisting, and then darkness. I can't really explain what happened next. All I know is that at some point I couldn't feel pain anymore, or fear, just silence, and a strange sensation like I was floating. I turned around and saw something that broke my heart. I saw the car, completely wrecked, people running, an ambulance, flashing lights, and then I saw myself, lying still, eyes closed, covered with a sheet. That was my body, but I wasn't inside it anymore. And as crazy as it sounds, I didn't scream, I didn't cry, because something or someone was coming. At first, I didn't understand. I thought I was dreaming, or maybe having a nightmare, but everything was too vivid, too real. The cold in the air, the shouting, the ambulance lights flashing in my face, even though I didn't have eyes anymore. I saw the scene from above. It was like I was floating, and everything was moving in slow motion. My dad was screaming, my friend was injured but conscious, and I was still. A paramedic was trying to revive me while someone else said words I didn't want to hear. No pulse. Code red. Call the doctor. But I was fully aware, more alive than I had ever been. Then everything shifted. It felt like a great force was pulling me upward. I didn't resist. It was as if some part of me knew I had to go. The sky turned white, but not like clouds. It was a living light, a light that seemed to breathe. It didn't burn. It was warm, soft, filled with love. I can't explain it in human words. That light felt like it was hugging me from the inside out. I was moving through a kind of tunnel, but not like in the movies. It felt more like a flow of presence. On the sides, I saw images passing by, moments from my childhood, my mom singing me to sleep, laughing with my brother, deleted WhatsApp messages, filtered Instagram photos. Every little piece of my life was visible, but without judgment. Then, silence. A silence that spoke. And there, I saw him. He wasn't what I expected. He wasn't the church Jesus with the white robe and perfect hair. No, he was something so much deeper. He was light, but with eyes. Eyes so full of mercy I couldn't even look at them for long. He looked at me, not with judgment. He looked at me like he had always known me. Like he had been waiting for me since the day I was born. "Elena," he said. And when he spoke my name, I just broke. Not physically, but something inside me shattered. Like armor falling off. I felt truly seen for the first time in my life. and I started crying. I cried for all the times I had searched for approval through a screen, for all the nights I compared myself to others, for all the times I thought, I'm not enough. And he already knew all of it. And still, he loved me. No explanations were needed. His presence was the explanation. Then he reached out his hand and said, "Come, there's something I need to show you." When Jesus said, "Come, there's something I need to show you," I didn't hesitate. Not because I was brave, but because there was no fear when he was near me. We walked, or at least it felt like walking, but we weren't touching the ground. There wasn't really a place around us. It was like being outside of time, in a space made only of truth. There were no sounds, yet everything around me spoke, not to my ears, but to my heart. Jesus was light, but with a human form. His face changed every time I looked at him. One moment he looked young, then older, then familiar. Like every part of him contained every face of love I had ever known. He held my hand. It was warm, real. Then he spoke to me with a voice so calm and gentle, but also powerful, like it came from inside of me. "Elena, you didn't come here by accident. You came for a reason. And before you return, there's something the world is forgetting that you need to see." And right in front of me, a vision opened up. It was like I was watching Earth from very far away. A beautiful blue sphere, but with cracks of light running through it. Then I saw a girl, about my age. She was alone in her room, in the dark, holding her phone, scrolling nonstop. Silent tears ran down her cheeks. Her parents thought she was just wasting time online, but in reality, she was losing herself. Every hateful comment, every missed like, it was taking a piece of her soul. Jesus said, "Millions of young people are growing up like this, searching for love in the wrong places, confusing attention with worth, and they're slowly fading away unseen." Then the scene changed. I saw a school, teenagers laughing, talking, but inside many of them were empty. I could see their thoughts like shadows. I'm not enough. I have to be perfect. If I don't post, no one will care about me. One girl posted a heavily edited photo. She got 300 likes, but right after, she felt even more alone. Like the love she received was fake, like everything was filtered, shallow, and fragile. Jesus looked into my eyes and said, "Social media is a tool, but it's becoming an invisible prison, and the enemy uses appearances to extinguish inner light. Today's battle is fought on screens and in hearts." Those words hit me so deeply. I was part of that too. I had lived in that prison without even realizing it. Then Jesus raised his hand and said, "But not all is lost. There is still hope. Come. There's more I want to show you." And in an instant, the light around us changed. Another vision was coming, and I wasn't ready for what I was about to see next. Jesus took my hand again. His eyes hadn't lost that depth of love, but now they looked serious, almost sorrowful. "This next part," he said, "is about choice. Humanity is standing at a crossroads." Then everything around us turned dark, but it wasn't a normal kind of darkness. It was thick, almost alive. I could hear distant voices, broken, echoing voices, like they were coming from inside a cracked phone screen. Then another scene opened up before me. I saw a crowd of young people. They were all walking in the same direction, heads down, staring at their phones. No one was talking. No one looked at each other. They were connected, but completely alone. Then, without warning, they started falling into a massive pit. The ground beneath them was crumbling, but no one noticed. They were too focused on the next video, the next notification, the perfect filter. I screamed, "Stop! You're falling!" But no one heard me. Jesus whispered, "This is what happens when the virtual becomes more real than the soul, when identity is replaced by a character." Then the vision changed again. I saw a young girl. Her eyes were tired, her face marked by sleepless nights. She stared at the screen, and her face kept changing, first with one filter, then another, until she was no longer herself. She had become just an image, a creation, someone shaped to please others, and inside, she was empty. But suddenly, the scene paused, and in the corner, I saw a small light. A girl, maybe the same one, turned off her phone. She knelt beside her bed, and she cried. But these weren't hopeless tears, they were tears of surrender. Her lips moved in silence. God, if you're there, please help me. And at that moment, the light exploded, not from around her, but from within her. Jesus looked at me and said, "The world has taught young people to search for worth outside themselves, but I created them with a light no algorithm can copy. Every prayer, even whispered, tears open the heavens. Every heart that seeks me, finds me." I couldn't stop crying, because I had lived through all of it. I had looked for approval through a screen. I had compared my beauty to others, forgetting that I was already loved, already worthy, already enough. Then Jesus lifted his hand and I saw something that shook me to my core. An entire generation on its knees, teenagers and children praying, hugging their parents, turning off their phones just to listen to God. A kind of awakening, a fire spreading silently, heart to heart, without noise, without likes, only truth. And Jesus said, "It is coming, a new time, but before that, there will be darkness, and each one of you will have to choose." After showing me those visions, Jesus looked at me, not with anger, but with an intensity that left a mark deep inside me. It felt like every word he spoke carried eternal weight. And he wasn't just speaking to me, he was speaking to all of us. He said, "Elena, listen to me. The world doesn't need more influencers. It needs awakened hearts. You weren't born to be perfect in the eyes of others. You were born to bring light where there is confusion." Then he stepped closer, and with a softer voice, almost like a father, he added, "I chose you, just like I choose every soul, not because you're flawless, but because you are loved, and love is the only thing that truly saves." I was trembling. Inside, I felt a peace so deep that I didn't want to go back. I said, through tears, "Can I stay with you? Please. I don't want to go back down there." He smiled, but his eyes were serious. "Your time is not over. Many will hear you, but it won't be easy. The world will laugh at you. They'll say it was just a dream, but I will be with you. Always. Don't stay silent. Testify. Love. Help others prepare." Then he hugged me, and in that embrace, I felt God. Not words. Presence. A presence that doesn't judge, doesn't force, doesn't demand, but transforms. Then, suddenly, everything began to dissolve. The light, the warmth, his voice. All of it was fading while I was falling backward, like into a tunnel of wind and tears. It was like my soul was squeezing back into a space that was too small. And then, a machine. Beep, beep, beep. I woke up in a hospital bed. There were tubes everywhere. My head was bandaged, and my mom was holding my hand, crying. My dad was there too, with red eyes. A doctor was saying, "We don't know how," but her heart started beating again after 4.5 minutes. It's a miracle. I couldn't speak yet, but the tears kept flowing. And they weren't tears of pain. I had come back. But I wasn't the same anymore. The days that followed felt strange. People treated me like a survivor. But inside, I felt like a messenger. And for days, I couldn't stop thinking about what Jesus had said. The world doesn't need more appearances. It needs more light. When I was finally allowed to use my phone again, I didn't want to post. I wanted to delete. App after app. Account after account. Not because social media is evil in itself, but because I needed to make space. Space for him. Now. If you've made it this far, thank you. I know this story might sound unbelievable, and honestly, if it hadn't happened to me, I think I would have struggled to believe it too. But it's all true. Every word. And now I feel like I have to speak to you, not as someone who has all the answers, not as someone holy or special, but just as a girl, someone like you, someone who was drowning in silence, anxiety, and loneliness. Until something reached me that no like, no follower count, no filter could ever replace. I know what it feels like to be invisible, even when people notice you. I know what it's like to feel not enough, even when others compliment you. I know what it's like to have a heart full of noise and not be able to hear God, even when you want to. But now I know something else too. You are never alone, not for a second, because God sees you. Even in the moments when you think no one cares, He knows you. Every thought, every fear, every silent cry. And He doesn't love you because you're perfect or strong or popular. He loves you because you are His. That's it. You don't have to be good enough to talk to Him. You don't need to memorize any prayers. You can just whisper, Jesus, if you're there, show me. And He will. Maybe not how you expect, but He'll come. Gently, truly, with real love. What I saw during those minutes outside my body wasn't just for me. It was for you too. For everyone who's lost in a life full of speed, pressure, performance, and fake perfection. That's not why you're here. You weren't created to chase approval. You were created to bring light, to love, to be free. Jesus told me that this generation is under attack. But He also showed me something incredible. There's a new beginning coming, a quiet revolution, a wave of hearts returning to God, not loudly, not on stage, but in secret, in silence, in truth. And you can be part of that. You don't need to do anything big. Start small. Turn off your phone for an hour. Talk to God like you'd talk to a friend. Ask Him, "What do you want from me?" Then, "Listen, I came back to life. But deep down, I've never been the same." And if this story helped you stop and reflect, even just for a moment, then everything I went through has meaning. Don't wait for pain to start seeking God. Seek Him now, and I promise, He will never let you go. With love, Elena.